If you're new here, hi, how's it going? My name is Danny. I'm one of the worship leaders here at Northland Church. Those of you who've been around a while, hi. One of the things I like best about being here is running into people from Northland Church all over the place. I get to see you guys like in the foyer and like when I'm up at Children's Church picking up my son. And sometimes I bump into you out at like Publix or fireworks stands. And I always get two questions when I bump into a Northland family member. The first one is, hey, do you sing at Northland? And because I'm not a pretentious jerk, I always kind of just go, yeah. But for the sake of our TED Talks, our theological education discussions, I would like to clarify for everybody in the room that we do not sing at Northland. We worship at Northland Church. The songs that we sing together as a congregation are a response to what the Lord is doing in our lives. We say we worship him for who he is, what he's done, and what he continues to do. So to start our worship off, I wanted to tell you a story about a time that God showed up for me, which brings me to the second question that people usually ask me when I run into you out in the foyer or up at Children's Church or at Publix or a fireworks stand is, hey, how's your son doing? For those of you who have been here, know that my family went through some health issues with our son. And for those of you who have not been here long, here's the story. A couple years ago at Christmas time, I was doing Christmas Eve services here, and my wife called me and said, you gotta get to the hospital. August is not okay. And it turned out that he had a very rare virus that attacked his blood vessels and arteries leading to his heart. And so from Christmas Eve until almost Valentine's Day, he was in the hospital trying to fight this virus and get this virus under control. And they left him with large aneurysms on both sides of his heart. And the doctors also realized that the third main line going into his heart wasn't even connected at all. And they don't know if that was from the virus or if he was just born that way. But there's 3 lines going. One line's not connected at all, and the other 2 lines are severely damaged, and he wasn't getting great blood flow at all. But he was able to go home on a bunch of medicines and stuff and, light activity. Fast forward to almost exactly a year ago this week, we got to go out to Boston Children's Hospital, to one of the best pediatric cardiac surgery places in the United States. And he had open heart surgery to do a bypass to reconnect that line that was missing and take up the blood flow for those 2 bad lines. And the day after his surgery, they took him in and did an MRI and found that he had incredible flow now going through the new line that they had just attached. Not only that, but the lines that were damaged almost immediately, since they didn't have to fight anymore, they just kind of closed off and stopped flowing. So basically, just in the nick of time, they got the new line attached, the other lines that were fighting to save him closed off and weren't working anymore. And through it all, he had grown these collateral lines into his heart to make up for some of the lost flow. So those collateral lines were bringing extra blood in, but after they connected this new line, they actually reversed flow to bring the blood now out of the heart that was circulating through his heart into the rest of his body. And when the doctor told us about this, he used words like, give me a sec. He used words like rare and unexpected. And I looked at him and I said, no, that's a miracle. And the whole time that we were there, doctors and nurses commented on how well our family was dealing with all of this, how well my wife and I communicated with each other. And they would see us every night before I left. We would pray and we would give thanks for the doctors and the nurses and the medicines, because we knew that God was in control. And I was able to keep that in my head because on my rides to the hospital and from the hospital, I was listening to worship music. I was listening to, I'm going to see a victory, and you're a good, good Father. And I was spending time every day in the Word, reminding myself of the story of God, reminding myself of my salvation through a Father who loves me. And that's what the ancient Israelites did with this book. There's this whole book in the middle called the Psalms. Those Psalms are their songs of worship, their battle cries, their songs of thanksgiving to their Father. That is the reason why we worship.